Juggling too many plates in your business or hoping to uplevel your social media presence to showcase your expertise? If you need help with outsourcing that, let's talk about how to hire a social media manager. Let's break down the steps to hiring your perfect social media manager. I'm going to give you my entire hiring sequence. And you're not just going to hand over the keys to your social media to anyone who asks, right? We'll also cover the key qualities to look for in a social media manager. And on to the questions maybe you're too hesitant to ask. What does a social media manager actually do? When and where should you look for them? If social media management feels like one big question mark, I've got you covered in today's video. My business has a pretty intensive hiring process, and that's for a reason, because we don't want to waste time or money. My business is like my baby, and it probably is for you too. That's something really important to protect. So I'm going to share with you my in-depth hiring process, and it's in-depth because it works. I don't want to have that high turnover where someone might start with the company and I spend all this time training them, and then it turns out they don't work out, and then I have to start all over again. That sounds like a nightmare. What if you could just build your dream team by spending more time in the hiring and onboarding process? So I'm going to share that with you. The first thing we do is we create a detailed job description. That way the expectations are set right from the start. We clearly outline the role, the requirements, and the results that we want to see so that by the end of their 90-day probation period, they know what we want to set them up for. We want to set us both up for success, and we want someone coming into this company with a clear vision of how they can also advance in their role. Ideally, we want people that want to grow with the company. That's going to create an incredible company culture where people are excited to grow and be a part of the team. Inside that job description, we're very specific to also have some push-pull language. We want to attract the right people, and we also want to repel the wrong people. I'm not trying to just hire anybody. And if there's a bunch of people that are applying that they're just trying to get any job, I want to get specific people that see this job description and go, this is the job for me. This sounds like my dream job. This sounds like something that I can't wait to wake up and do every single day. So I'm going to be specific in that job description in terms of the kind of culture fit, personality, and attitude that I'm looking for. And if they're not that fit, then the job description can help to repel them if they know like, hey, this is going to require me to work hard and be determined. If that's not the right person, great, they don't need to apply. Now, the next steps of the interview process are also so important to make sure that of all the applicants, you pick the perfect fit for your company. So our interview process is a little more than just reviewing resumes and having them get on a call or meet us for an interview. The first thing we do is we actually do a screening right from the description. So one of the things we do in our description is instead of saying, send us your resume here, we actually say, click this link and fill out this form. And inside the form, there's a place for them to upload their resume, but in the form, we ask them some of the preliminary questions that you might be asking in a job interview anyway. We'll ask them questions about their experience, why they believe they're qualified for this job, why they're looking for a job, what they know about the company, and why they want to work with us. Now, we get some really entertaining answers in here sometimes. Sometimes we'll have people that we see clearly didn't look at the job description, so we know that we can rule that out right away. But we also see people who clearly want this job. They've done their research, or they know about our company already, and just from their answers from that quick form, we can get a feel for this seems like a really great candidate, and we want to move them along in the interview process. So from that screening, from that form, we'll make a short list of candidates based on the answers that we really liked. And then from that list, I'll call them for a little phone interview. And from that phone interview, that's where I can learn a little bit more about them, get to know a bit more of their personality, and see how we communicate. If that call goes well, the next thing I'll do is I'll ask them if they'd be open to doing a test assignment. Now, this is a very simple assignment, something that might take them like 10 to 15 minutes, just so I can get a feel for what their work actually looks like. So for a social media manager, I might ask them to make 1 or 2 social media posts. I will give them a specific call to action to say, hey, can you make a post advertising this video or advertising this webinar, so that I can see, are they a good writer? Are they well-versed in multiple channels? Have they done their research? Will they do their research about my social media presence to see if they can kind of speak in our voice and our branding? And this is also to see how well they follow instructions and adhere to deadlines. Some people might say yes to taking on that test assignment, but if they don't follow the instructions or if they don't send it in on time, that shows us that if they can't get it right at the test assignment, will they get it right if we were to hire them? We've also been able to rule out people here because sometimes people would say, absolutely not, I'm not doing free work for you. That would take me hours to do. You're trying to exploit me for free work. Well, that's absolutely not the case. We always want to give them an assignment that would take them like 10 to 15 minutes. And if they come back saying that this would take them hours to do, that also tells us they're not a good fit for us, because if that would take us hours, that's not a good use of our time. But we also want to see that this person is willing to be a team player and willing to step up to the plate and show what they can do for our company. If that test assignment goes well, we'll have another final interview with another member of our team, typically someone that they might be working with closer. And if that goes well, we'll give them one final test assignment, one that's paid now because we want to go more in depth in their skills and abilities. And if that goes well, we would love to hire that person. Now, I want to share with you some of the ideal qualities of a social media manager, but before I do, I want to remind you, hit that subscribe button, because I'm putting out tips like this every single week to help you grow your business. I've been a social media manager and I've hired social media managers, so I think I know a lot about what I'm looking for when it comes to hiring the perfect one for your dream team. First of all, because they're going to be working on social media and a lot of that has to do with content creation, I want them to be a good writer. Can they write well in my voice? Do they understand my messaging and my branding? Can they also spell properly and use appropriate grammar? This is really easy to find in the test assignment, so make sure that you don't skip that step. I also want to see that they're well versed in multiple channels and that they can also adapt. When Clubhouse came out earlier this year, or when TikTok was huge, my social media manager came to the table saying, hey, here's some ideas for a new strategy. I want to know that they're well versed in multiple channels and can take initiative in anything that changes online, because social media changes a lot. I also want them to be data driven, meaning that they can understand analytics and make moves in their strategy based on the numbers. Sure, creating content is great, but we're not just creating content for the sake of content. We're creating content that leads to an outcome. So to know that we're reaching that outcome, they need to be able to look at the data. And one of my favorite things that I love to see in my employees is that they're creative, that they take that creative initiative, that they have ideas, that they have the creative freedom. Because for me personally, I know that that's something that's so fulfilling to me when, sure, I can have a structure and I can have an outline for a direction to go, but that I can also add my own feel to it. So I want to give that freedom to my employees and see them run with it. So I love to see what kind of creativity that they can bring to the table, because that also becomes really inspiring for the rest of the team. So now that I've said that, can you think of any other qualities that your ideal social media manager would have that maybe I missed, or maybe something specific to your niche? Let me know in the comments below. This could be really helpful for everyone else watching this video too. Now, another thing that's really important for you to decide is, do you want to hire someone full-time, part-time, or just by the project? Regardless of whatever you hire them for, whatever time or capacity you hire them for, you're still going to follow the same interview and hiring and screening process. You post your job description, you interview them, you have them do the test assignments. That's still so important to make sure you're bringing the quality candidate for your dream team. But ideally, it's up to you, depending on the workload and your budget, for what capacity you might want to bring them on. Maybe you know that you just have a few projects here and there, or you say, hey, I'm going to have you create this many social media posts every month. Or maybe you know that you have enough for full-time work. The best way to determine this is to do a time study for yourself and your other team members to see how much time are you spending on tasks that can then be delegated to a social media manager. When you can do that time study and see how much time you or your other employees are spending on it, then you'll know if this is something that you can hire someone for full-time, part-time, or project. Ideally, you want to hire a social media manager when your business expands to the point where you just can't do it yourself anymore. What I like to say is, do what you do best and outsource the rest. You should be participating in the highest revenue generating opportunities in your business. Sure, you can be creating your social media content, but should you? Is that something that you could outsource and find someone who also has that superpower when your superpowers are things that might be generating more revenue for the business? When you can't keep up with the workload on your own and you know that you could be expanding the business in another direction, you might actually be holding yourself back by not investing that money. I know that for me, I thought that I could do everything myself. I thought I was this snowflake unicorn that only I could do it the way I want. And I'm so glad that I overcame that limiting belief, because I would never have the 7-figure business I have today if I still continued to do everything myself. You only have so many hours in the day, and when you need more time, you need more team. Now I'm going to share with you my favorite places to find and hire social media managers, but before we move on to that, have you subscribed to this channel yet? Hit that big red button below to get brand new content marketing strategies, business acceleration tips, and more straight to your YouTube feed 5 days a week. Now, I've hired social media managers from all different places. I've tried everything, but my favorite places to find them are on LinkedIn. You can post on your profile sharing that you are looking for someone for this role. You can also share on their job boards on LinkedIn. You can also use job sites like Indeed or Upwork. You can also get referrals from other entrepreneurs or post in Facebook groups for social media managers. I also am a big fan of outsourcing to other countries where I can find people online in places like Upwork or onlinejobs.ph. Again, the most important thing is that you always follow the process. Don't skip it, because if you do, you'll find yourself regretting that you did. The role of a social media manager can expand your company exponentially. The biggest thing is hiring the right person and having the right process for them. They should be in charge of planning and implementing and managing the social media in a way that aligns with your messaging, your brand, and your voice. We also want them to take initiative on the creative direction. We want them to be ahead of the trends and the algorithm and the changes, and to be able to adapt your content to be creative and fit what's working online. With that, we want them to be aware of the analytics and be able to report on the success of social media platforms, and also be able to adapt and tweak. The best way to grow is by knowing the numbers and continuously optimizing from there, so you can expand your reach, which will expand your sales. If you're ready to take your content marketing to the next level and build an evergreen lead generation machine, I have just the thing for you. If you click the link below, you can reserve your spot in my next free training. This is the exact strategy that my 6, 7, and 8-figure clients use to maximize their cash flow through online content, and you can be next. Whether it's you or your social media manager implementing this, this will take you to the next level.